Section 3.2, Transformations of the Graph of Functions. In this section, we are going to learn use of vertical translation to graph function, horizontal translation, graph the function using two translations, use reflections about the x and y-axis to graph functions, use a vertical stretching and shrinking to graph the function, use a horizontal stretching and shrinking to graph the function, and graph the function using a combination of transformation. So we have a lot of information need to learn from this section. So we start from first one. How do we use a vertical translation to graph the function? If f is a function and k is a positive number, then the graph of y equal f of x plus k is identical to the graph of the function y equal f of x, except that is a translated k units upward. So in other words, f of x is the basic function. So from this basic function, when outside of the function plus a positive number, plus a number, that means the function go up. From the basic function minus a number outside of the function, that means the graph will shift down. So we do a practice here. G of x is equal absolute value function x minus 2. So here, this is basic function of the absolute value function. So the basic function of the absolute value is the V shape facing up and it passing through the 0, 0. Now, outside the function has a minus 2, that means the translate function, this graph, it will shift down 2 units on the y-axis. So the new V shape, it will passing to 0, negative 2. And the graph, the shape itself is identical from the parent function, from the basic function of this one. Now we do the other one. Absolute value x plus 3. So outside of the absolute value function, it add 3. So that means this V shape will shift up 3 units. Okay, let me change the color. So it will go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So the new V shape will facing up. It will shift 3 units up, and the shape is remain the same shape. So the first two examples here, they are vertical translation. Vertical. So now we are going to work on horizontal translation. If f is a function and k is a positive number, then the graph of y equal f of x minus k. Now keep in mind, this minus k is inside of the parenthesis. So when you see the number plus minus go with inside of the parenthesis, that means they are doing the horizontal translation. So you have to shift the graph, go left or go right. So this f of x minus k is identical to the graph of the y equal f of x, except that it is translated k units to the right. So that means when you have a minus number inside of the parenthesis, that means it go right. When you have the plus k inside of the parenthesis, that means the graph shifts to the left. So we look at the example here. Now we work on this example. G of x is equal x minus 4 with x value. So the basic function of your absolute value is a V shape passing to 0, 0. So this is x with absolute value. Now, inside of the absolute value sign, they have minus 4. The g function has minus 4 here. So this is the same meaning. It's kind of like you have the parenthesis. So when you have the inside plus minus a number, that means we deal with a horizontal translation. Now, minus 4, it will shift to the right 4 units. So we have to change the vertex point. Shift this graph toward to the right hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be the new vertex point. So this graph, it will shift to the right 4 units. So this, let me change the color so that you can see. Okay. So this would be x minus 4 with absolute value. We do the other one. H function has x plus 2 in plus 2 is inside of the absolute value. So that means it shifts to the left 2 units. So the vertex point, the new vertex point, will go left hand side 2 units, and this will be the h of x function. X plus 2 with absolute value. Graph functions using two translation. So we do the example of this one. X minus 5, it has a degree power 3 plus 4. Now, degree power 3 is a cubic function. So the basic function or the parent function of the power 3 function, it will has this kind of the tendency. So this is x power 3. We have to move the graph to the right. So go right 5. And outside of the parenthesis here, it has plus 4. That means we need to go up 4 to shift the graph 4. So if you look at the basic function here on the graph here, this is x power 3, the red color line. Now we have to shift the graph to the right 5 units. So we use this center point to translate. So this point will shift right 5 and then go up 4. So the new center point, it will translate from 0, 0 to the 5, 4. And the graph, the shape of the graph is identical. But the center point has shifted to the 5, 4.